I think when people generally look at an ACE, they look at it more as a hoop to jump through rather than an opportunity to become more well-rounded, because I think that's really the purpose of ACE, is just to make everybody explore things that they didn't know and they might actually really like.
What they should look at as an opportunity. I mean, something that they could do that maybe they've always wanted to try or don't have any experience doing, and try to make the most of it. I mean, look at, for my example, and I know a couple of other students have really benefited from the ACE classes because they've gone on with a different perspective and what they originally had.
I signed up for a class that was ACE certified, I guess, and I signed up for it just because I kind of heard about it from some friends. I didn't really even know what it was. I just knew it was Teach 330. On the first day, I learned that it was multicultural education. I grew up in Northeast Nebraska, where I hadn't ever really experienced diversity. The class helped me think about things that I had never even considered before in diversity. I would have never taken a class like multicultural education without having an ACE program to help me explore things that weren't in my major.
The ACE program is the reason that I'm a psychology major. I took Psychology 181 to fulfill an ACE requirement, fell in love with the class, and it changed my entire life. And if we didn't have an easy, accessible education, general education program like the ACE credits, I have no idea where I'd be, but probably not as happy as I am now.
Well, I came in as an ag journalism major, and I went through a semester and I figured out it really wasn't for me. So I had a lot of different areas that I was looking into, and so I decided one day just to go to career services because I knew that they had people that you could talk to there. So I went in for a walk-in appointment and I waited there for about 10-15 minutes, and I got a one-on-one appointment with somebody who was really helpful. And I set up an appointment to come back a few days later and take a career assessment test. Once I did that, we went over what the results were, and then the person that helped me ended up helping me set up appointments with different advisors to look at different majors, which really opened my eyes to a lot of different fields I was looking at, because I was really broad spectrum from elementary education all the way to ag business. And because of that, I found a few classes that I tried out, and I ended up settling on ag business because of all the experience I gained from that. I don't know how I could have figured out certain classes to take, because I took an Ag Econ 141 class, which is basic macroeconomics, and when I took it, I knew that it was going to be a challenging course, but it was also really eye-opening to see the different opportunities that I had, and I wouldn't be able to take that class if I wouldn't have met with my advisor, which was set up by the people at Career Services. They really showed me how to find advisors and really what to look for when I'm searching around for a different major.
Especially if you're away from home, it's important to have a professor that you can personally talk to, because that face-to-face conversation that you would like to have with your parents or someone in your family that you really trust, you can't have in college. And they're going to just talk to you, and they've been through it and they have more advice than any friend that you probably have.
If you get to know your professors and they get to know you, they'll appreciate that you're trying to build a relationship with them, and they'll invest in your academic experience. Faculty are so helpful, and they're wise. You're here to learn from the faculty, so you should take advantage of it. And once you get to know your professors, you like your classes more, you enjoy sitting and listening to them speak, and they can help you out with recommendations and opportunities in Lincoln.
Going into college, I knew I wanted to be a music education major, and music majors have to take a lot of prescribed classes, and one of those classes is 4 semesters of music theory and ear training. So that was hard for me going in, not having very much of a music theory background. I was too afraid to ask for help because in high school I was used to being the person who people would ask me for help for music things, so then to go to the School of Music and have to be the person to ask for help was challenging for me. But I did find a study group that a group through the School of Music was leading, and I took the initiative and attended this study session, and it really helped me focus on my academics. I met other people through attending those study sessions and ended up joining the group that led the study sessions and ended up being president of the group my junior year. If I could give one tip to incoming freshmen, I would say to not be afraid to ask for help. I know our generation, we're very focused on academics and volunteer work, and we're very driven and are not satisfied with C's. We want A's. But then in college you come and you're kind of floundering for a little bit and C's might be average, but you still want the A's. I would say don't be afraid to ask for help at all, because the way you get those A's, get what you're satisfied with, is you go to the resource centers if you need help, go to study sessions, ask the teacher for help if you need it. Just be really proactive in your academic success.
So I came in, joined a fraternity, became involved in student government, became involved in a lot of things. And the involvement kind of pushed its way up on my priority list, where it became my first priority, and school was bumped farther down. But after the end of my first semester, I realized with the GPA I received and kind of the repercussions that came from how low the GPA that I received was, I knew that I had to make a lot of changes in my priorities. I went from thinking that I was, I can do all these things, I can be involved in 8 groups and then do engineering, to realizing that even though it's no matter what classes I'm taking, I need to let people help me. One of the ways the Math Resource Center helped me was the people in there are students, usually math students who have taken the classes that I needed help with. So they were able to look through and say, all right, practice these kinds of, these problems will have these kinds of concepts. And if you're struggling with these kinds of concepts, here are some problems some extra problems that you can do that will help you better. And if you have any problems, come back in. It's like, I've been in this place, I've taken this class, and this is how I got through it. And these are the ways that I did the problems, made a way that may be better than or more efficient than the way the book taught or the professor taught. Don't wait a semester to realize that you need help.
I love UNL. I'm so glad that I decided to come 19 hours and go to school here. I've had the best 3 years, and I can't wait to experience my 4th year.
First day here was NSC day, and ever since then, once I started getting involved, after taking a couple classes, you just learn to love the campus, every little bit of it.
UNL has changed me for the better, and I love it here.
There is no place like Nebraska.
There is no place like Nebraska.
And I can proudly say there is no place like Nebraska.